In the busy heart of Accra, a teenager's curiosity led him to shocking truths about a famous prophetess. What he discovered will surprise you, and the way it all ends will leave you speechless. Mama Divine Vision's church was like no other. It stood at the center of Adenta, with people coming from all over to witness the so-called miracles she performed. She had everyone in the church believing that she could see into their futures, that she had a direct line to God. Everyone thought her prophecies were real, but Emmanuel, a young man who had been attending for months, began to doubt. One Sunday, as Mama Divine Vision delivered another prophecy, Emmanuel couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Her words felt rehearsed, and the way people responded to her seemed more like an act. Was this really the work of God? Or is something fishy going on? Nana Akua, later known as Mama Divine Vision, grew up in a small village in Ashanti region, raised by loving and devout parents. She was a good girl, respectful, caring, and obedient. Her dream was always to serve God, to become a prophetess who could guide people to salvation. But she didn't know how to make that dream come true. She worked hard, stayed humble, and prayed for a sign. But one day, she met Kofi, a man who changed everything. Kofi was smooth-talking, charming, and filled with promises of greatness. He told her that in order to truly become a prophetess, she had to have power, real power. Power that came from beyond the normal. He introduced her to dark spirits and rituals that would unlock her true potential. Mama Divine Vision didn't know better, and her hunger for success led her down a path she could never return from. Mama Divine Vision stood before her congregation for the first time, trembling with excitement. She closed her eyes, pretending to listen to God, and then opened her mouth to speak. "The Lord has shown me that your business will prosper in 7 days if you sow your seed of faith today," she said, pointing to a man in the front row. He smiled, believing her prophecy, and sowed a seed with a large sum of money. As the days passed, Mama Divine Vision began to rely more and more on the dark spirits that Kofi had introduced to her. When she spoke in church, she felt a surge of energy, as if something was controlling her. It wasn't God, it was something much darker. Demons would possess her, making her speak in tongues, delivering prophecies that left people in awe. She became more powerful with each passing day. People came to her for healing, for answers, and for guidance. And every time, she would perform a miracle, as if by magic. But behind the scenes, Mama Divine Vision was using dark rituals to summon the spirits that would make her prophecies come true, for a price. Mama Divine Vision knew the power of healing. It was the most powerful tool in her bag of tricks. She would tell her followers that they were healed of diseases, addictions, and even curses, if they gave enough money to the church. And it worked. The people who came to her for healing would leave feeling better, but the truth was, they hadn't been healed at all. One woman, Akojua, came to her church, desperate for help with her sick daughter. Mama Divine Vision promised her that the girl would be healed. But in exchange for the miracle, Akojua was told to give everything she had, her savings, her house rent, even her last food money. When Akojua returned to Mama Divine Vision months later, she was devastated. Her daughter's condition had worsened, not improved. But Mama Divine Vision had already moved on to her next miracle, and Akojua was left with nothing. Mama Divine's prophecies didn't just destroy individuals, they tore apart families. One man, Kwame, came to her church seeking help with his troubled marriage. Mama Divine Vision told him, "The Lord has shown me that your wife is causing your financial ruin. You must separate from her if you ever want to prosper." Kwame, heartbroken, confronted his wife, accusing her of being the cause of all their problems. The result? A bitter divorce that left both of them struggling, all because of a lie Mama Divine Vision told. Another woman, Abina, was told by Mama Divine Vision that her husband was cursed, and if she didn't leave him, her life would be ruined. Abina followed the advice, and soon after, her life spiraled into chaos. She lost her job, her home, and was left alone. The curse wasn't from her husband, it was from the lies of Mama Divine. To keep her followers in check, Mama Divine Vision used charms and curses. She would offer them special blessings that she claimed would protect them from evil. But these blessings came with a price. They had to give money, their time, and their loyalty to her. If they ever left her church, she warned them, they would face a lifetime of misfortune. If anyone dared to speak out against her, they would face a curse. Their jobs would be lost, their families would turn against them, and nothing would ever go right again. And every time, they would return to her, begging for forgiveness and asking her to lift the curse. She had them under her control. Emmanuel had had enough. One day, he stood up during one of Mama Divine's services and shouted, "You're a fraud. You don't speak for God. You speak for demons." The crowd gasped, and Mama Divine Vision glared at him. "You've been deceived by the devil," she spat. "You will never prosper if you leave this church. Your life will be cursed." But Emmanuel was determined to expose her. "You've ruined so many lives with your lies, Mama Divine. It's time for the truth to come out." The confrontation was tense, but Mama Divine Vision quickly regained her composure. "Leave now," she ordered, "or your life will never be the same. You'll regret this." Emmanuel didn't back down. He knew he had to expose her for who she truly was. It was time for the people to see the truth. Mama Divine Vision had mastered the art of manipulation. She convinced her followers that anyone who left her church would face a lifetime of misery. "You will be cursed, your life will be ruined, and nothing good will happen to you," she warned them. But the truth was far different. The curses weren't from God, they were the result of Mama Divine's dark magic. She used fear to control them, to keep them coming back, to keep them under her thumb. And every time someone left, they found themselves in trouble, losing jobs, facing illness, or dealing with financial ruin. Mama Divine Vision was no longer just a prophetess, she was a celebrity. The church was packed with people every Sunday, all eager to hear the next big prophecy, to witness the next supposed miracle. She had perfected the art of manipulation, and the people around her were none the wiser. With every service, she became more powerful, more confident. But behind the scenes, she was more dependent on the dark spirits that had helped her rise to power. Each prophecy, each miracle, was a calculated move, a way to keep her hold on the congregation. She convinced them that only she had the power to stop the curses in their lives. People came to her with broken hearts, desperate to hear that their marriages would be saved, that their jobs would improve, that their children would be healed. But what they didn't know was that Mama Divine's cures were nothing but lies, and the more they gave her, the deeper they were trapped. Mama Divine's influence grew so powerful that even the local authorities feared her. She had convinced the community that anyone who spoke out against her would suffer. Even the smallest hint of opposition could lead to their lives falling apart. Her charm was undeniable, and her grip on the congregation was tightening. One day, a woman named Afia came to Mama Divine's church seeking help. Her husband, Kobina, had been distant for months, and their relationship was deteriorating. Mama Divine Vision immediately told Afia that Kobina had a spiritual problem, and that if she gave a large offering, she would receive a solution. Afia, desperate for a way to save her marriage, gave away every last bit of her savings. 2 weeks later, Afia found out that her husband had been cheating on her, and the problem wasn't spiritual, it was just a lack of trust. But by then, it was too late. Mama Divine Vision had already taken her money, and the damage to Afia's marriage was beyond repair. It wasn't just the lies that hurt her followers, it was the punishment for living. When someone tried to break free from Mama Divine's control, their lives would spiral into chaos. Take Kojo, for example. He had been attending Mama Divine's church for years, and everything seemed fine until he questioned one of her prophecies. He started to see through her facade and realized that everything was a scam. He decided to leave the church, but what followed was a nightmare. Kojo lost his job. His car broke down. His relationship with his family started to deteriorate. And then, he began to experience physical illnesses that no doctor could explain. His life seemed to fall apart, and within weeks, he found himself knocking on Mama Divine's church door, begging for forgiveness. But she didn't welcome him back with open arms. "You tried to leave, now you must suffer the consequences," she said coldly. "You cannot escape my power." For every person who believed in her, Mama Divine's manipulation went deeper. She targeted marriages, relationships, and even friendships, turning people against each other with her so-called prophecies. One of her most devastating prophecies came when she told a young woman named Esi who came for vacation from abroad that her mother, Mema Kojua, was involved in witchcraft. She said that unless Esi paid for an expensive ritual and neglect her mother, she will soon lose the work she is doing abroad, get deported, and lose all her properties abroad and become so jobless and frustrated. Esi was distraught but trusted Mama Divine, handing over the money without hesitation and chased her mother out on the streets from the house she built for her. Sadly, Esi's mother died a couple of months later after she fell sick as a result of the trauma and rejection she faced. After her death, they all found out that she was not a witch but a kind and loving woman who always wants the best for her daughter. Mama Divine Vision had used Esi's fears to destroy her relationship with her mother and also made her lose her, and when Esi cut ties with Mama Divine Vision, she faced the same curse as the others and lost everything after facing a legal issue from her workplace abroad that sent her to jail, and she also got deported back home. The church was not just a place of worship, it was a money-making machine. Mama Divine Vision had perfected the art of spiritual manipulation, and every part of the service was designed to keep people hooked. The prayers, the miracles, the prophecies, they were all carefully orchestrated. Each miracle came with a price. Every healing was followed by an offering, and each prophecy required a donation. The more money Mama Divine Vision received, the more powerful she became in her own eyes. And the followers kept coming back, believing that they had to keep giving in order to keep their lives in order. They believed that the more they gave, the more they would be blessed. But the truth was, the only person getting richer was Mama Divine Vision herself. As Mama Divine's power grew, so did her confidence. But there was a nagging feeling in the back of her mind. What if someone truly found out about her lies? What if someone exposed the dark powers she was using to manipulate people? One day, Emmanuel returned to the church. This time, he wasn't alone. He brought with him a group of former members who had finally seen through Mama Divine's deceit. They were ready to expose her for who she truly was. "Mama Divine," Emmanuel shouted, standing at the front of the church, "you're not a prophetess. You're a fraud. You've ruined so many lives with your lies, and it's time the truth comes out." The congregation gasped, unsure of what to believe. Mama Divine's face turned red with rage. "How dare you? You'll regret this. Your life will fall apart, just like all the others who live." But this time, Emmanuel was ready. "No more lies, Mama Divine. Your power is nothing but a curse." The fight for the truth was on. Emmanuel and the group of former members began gathering evidence, talking to those who had fallen victim to Mama Divine's manipulation. Slowly, the walls of deception began to crumble. People started to wake up, realizing they had been living in fear for years, controlled by a woman who had no real power. Mama Divine Vision fought back, using every tactic at her disposal. She spread rumors, threatened her former followers, and even tried to perform more miracles to maintain her influence. But the truth had already begun to spread, and soon, her church began to empty out. The day of reckoning came when the authorities finally intervened. After years of reports and testimonies, the church was shut down, and Mama Divine Vision was arrested for fraud and manipulation. In the end, her reign of lies had come to an end. The people she had hurt began to heal, and the community slowly rebuilt itself, stronger than before. The damage done by Mama Divine Vision was not easily undone. Families that had been torn apart struggled to rebuild their relationships. People who had lost everything to her false promises had to start from scratch. But as time went on, they learned to trust again and rebuild their faith, not in the false prophetess, but in each other. Emmanuel, the brave young man who had first spoken out, became a hero. His journey to expose Mama Divine Vision was a long and difficult one, but in the end, it had been worth it. And so, the story of Mama Divine Vision came to an end, but the lessons learned would last a lifetime. After the fall of Mama Divine's church, Emmanuel's life slowly started to piece itself together. He was no longer haunted by the guilt of allowing the church's falsehoods to flourish. Now, he focused on healing himself and helping others who had been hurt by Mama Divine's manipulations. Emmanuel found peace by offering counseling to the members who had been part of the church, guiding them through the painful process of detaching themselves from the fear and guilt Mama Divine Vision had instilled in them. He worked alongside local authorities and other support groups, ensuring that the community would never fall under the spell of a manipulator like Mama Divine Vision again. The final lesson was clear: never place blind trust in anyone, no matter how convincing their words or powerful their claims may seem. True spirituality lies in the love and support we give each other, and in the truth we seek for ourselves. Mama Divine Vision had fallen, but from the ashes, a community was reborn, stronger, wiser, and ready to face the future with eyes wide open. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an exciting new tale. See you in the next one.